Emiliano Zapata, a name whispered with respect, a symbol of standing up for what's right. Born in 1879 in the small village of Aneneculco, Zapata grew up witnessing the struggles of the poor and the injustices they faced. His early life was marked by a deep sense of empathy for the oppressed, which would later fuel his revolutionary spirit. He's remembered as a hero who fought for the poor and oppressed. His leadership during the Mexican Revolution made him a beacon of hope for many. Zapata's vision was clear: land and liberty for the peasants who had been exploited for generations. But every hero has a dark side. Zapata's story isn't just about freedom, it's also about the harsh realities of war and the difficult choices that come with it. His commitment to his cause sometimes led to ruthless actions that would stain his legacy. It's also about cruelty, a reminder of the terrible price of change. The battles fought were not just against the oppressors, but also against the very fabric of society that resisted change. The revolution was a time of great turmoil and suffering. This is the story of the bloodstains on the flag of revolution. The sacrifices made, the lives lost, and the bloodshed that marked the path to a new Mexico. Each stain tells a story of bravery, but also of pain and loss. This is the truth behind the legend, a truth that is often overshadowed by the myth. Zapata's legacy is complex, filled with both noble intentions and controversial actions. Many people know the basics of Zapata's revolution. They know he was a champion of land reform, advocating for the redistribution of land to the peasants. His famous slogan, "Tierra y libertad," land and liberty, became a rallying cry for the oppressed. They know he fought for land reform and always stood up for the peasants. His dedication to their cause was unwavering, and he inspired many to join the fight for justice and equality. But few dare to look into the darkness that clings to his memory. The decisions he made, the alliances he formed, and the enemies he created all contributed to a legacy that is as troubling as it is inspiring. The truth, as always, is much more complicated, much more disturbing. To truly understand Zapata, one must delve into the complexities of his life and the era he lived in. To understand Zapata, we have to face the violence, the betrayals, and the harsh reality of revolution. Only then can we appreciate the full scope of his impact and the enduring legacy he left behind. Imagine Mexico in the early 1900s, a land of extremes, where the gap between the rich and the poor was as vast as the deserts that stretched across the country. The few were rich, living in opulent estates, while most people lived in crushing poverty, struggling to survive each day. This was the world Emiliano Zapata was born into, a world where the cries of the oppressed echoed through the valleys and mountains. He saw the injustice firsthand, the way his people were taken advantage of by the powerful landowners who controlled their lives. He felt the simmering anger of a nation ready to explode, a nation that had endured too much for too long. The Mexican Revolution erupted in 1910, a seismic event that would change the course of the country's history forever. It was a firestorm fueled by decades of oppression, a collective outcry for justice and equality. The people, tired of broken promises and relentless exploitation, took up arms to fight for their rights. Zapata, a natural leader with an unyielding spirit, rose from the chaos, becoming a beacon of hope for the oppressed. He rallied the peasants with a simple, powerful cry: "Tierra y libertad," land and liberty. These words ignited a movement. It was a call to action, a promise of a better future where everyone could live with dignity and freedom. But the road to that future would be paved with blood, sacrifice, and an unwavering determination to achieve true justice. Zapata wasn't a man who did things halfway. He was a man of action, driven by an unshakable belief in his cause. But his methods were often brutal, his idea of justice unforgiving. He demanded complete loyalty and his enemies knew no mercy. Under his command, the Liberation Army of the South became a powerful force. They were farmers and workers turned soldiers. They fought with the fierceness of men defending their homes, their families, their very right to exist. But as the revolution raged on, a darkness crept into their hearts. The line between fighting for freedom and being cruel became blurred. War, by its very nature, is savage. The Mexican Revolution was no different. Zapata's forces, though fighting for a just cause, committed their share of horrors. Villages were destroyed, innocent people caught in the crossfire. One particularly gruesome event, the massacre at China-Mecca, forever stained Zapata's legacy. In a strategic move, his forces killed hundreds, their pleas for mercy drowned out by gunfire. Whether Zapata himself ordered the massacre is still debated, but one thing is certain: the blood of innocent people soaked into the soil, a grim reminder of the revolution's cost. Revolutions often destroy the very people who lead them. Zapata, despite his ruthlessness, was not immune to betrayal. He had looked into the abyss, and the abyss had looked back. He had made enemies, powerful men who feared his influence. In 1919, Zapata received an invitation to meet with Jesus Guajardo, a general who pledged loyalty to his cause. It was a trap. As Zapata stepped into the courtyard of the Hacienda de Chinameca, gunfire exploded. The revolutionary leader, betrayed by one of his own, fell, his body riddled with bullets. Emiliano Zapata's death sent shockwaves through Mexico. The news of his assassination spread like wildfire, leaving a nation in mourning and disbelief. The man who had dared to challenge the powerful, who had ignited the flames of revolution, was gone. His voice, once a beacon of hope for the oppressed, was silenced forever. But his death, much like his life, was controversial. Questions lingered about the circumstances, and many believed he was betrayed by those he trusted. He became a martyr, his image romanticized, his brutality often forgotten. Statues and murals were erected in his honor, immortalizing him as a symbol of resistance. Zapata's revolution ultimately achieved many of its goals. The land he fought so fiercely for was redistributed, giving hope to countless peasants. Land reform was enacted, the grip of the wealthy elite loosened. The vast estates of the rich were broken up, and the land was given back to the people. But the cost was staggering: hundreds of thousands dead, countless lives shattered. The revolution left a trail of blood and tears across the nation. The legacy of Emiliano Zapata remains a complex tapestry woven with threads of heroism and brutality. His actions, both noble and ruthless, continue to be debated. He was a product of his time, a man shaped by the violence he sought to overthrow. His story is a reminder of the high price of change and the enduring struggle for justice. Zapata's story is just one of many. History is filled with figures who walk the line between good and evil, visionaries whose paths to change were paved with blood. Their stories, often shrouded in myth and misconception, beckon us to delve deeper, to confront the complexities of the human condition. Who were these individuals? What drove them to such extremes? Were they monsters or saviors? To understand their motivations, their actions, is to understand the forces that have shaped our world. It's a journey into the darkest corners of human nature, a quest for truth that challenges our preconceived notions. Are you intrigued by the enigma of Emiliano Zapata? Do you find yourself drawn to the shadows of history, the stories that challenge and disturb? Then join us as we delve deeper into the lives of history's most notorious figures. Subscribe and embark on a journey of discovery. Also, if you enjoyed this content and want to be a champion of our channel, Pick up a cool Notorious Figures hoodie or t-shirt for yourself or for a gift. You can now shop our clothing store in the video description below. Until next time, cheers!